I'm Zach Smith from Route 113 Boat Sales. Today we're going to be doing one of our video owner's manuals. Today we're going to be on the Pathfinder 2500 Hybrid. This is one of my favorite boats in our model line. So climb on up, we're going to go through everything in complete detail. Up top on the Pathfinder 2500, we're going to start where you start every day, the battery switch compartment. So hop down, let's take a look at that. So inside your battery switch compartment, we have our main engine in-house system right here. Under normal operating conditions, this switch should be in the on position. Next to that, we have our trolling motor battery switch. If you're going to be using your trolling motor, obviously this battery switch needs to be in the on position. Below that, we have our 50 amp breaker for our trolling motor. And below the engine in-house system, we have our main breaker for the boat. As we come up here, we have our port and starboard power pole breakers, our jack plate breaker, our power assist steering breaker, and these two breakers are not currently used. Coming across here, we have all of our breakers for all of our switch gear, along with our breaker for our electronics in this boat. We have two 24-hour circuits on this boat, a bilge pump circuit, and a stereo memory circuit. Over on the left-hand side here, we have our dual USB charger, as well as a 12-volt receptacle. See. So at the helm of the Pathfinder 2500, first off we have a tilt helm. Tilt by pressing down on the lower tab. Next to that we have our Pro 10 trim jack plate, up and down. Coming over from there we have our Yamaha key switch. Yamaha keys, there's two, there's a black one and a chrome one. The chrome one has your key number on it. This particular one is 463. Write that number down somewhere. That way, if you lose it, you can call me and get another one. Yamaha binnacle controls right here. This is a digital shift and throttle engine. During normal operation, there will be a blue light on this control box. If that light goes orange for any reason, consult the Yamaha dealer. There's something wrong with your control box. Down on the lower left-hand side, there's a button that'll make that light start flashing. That allows you to enter free throttle mode. This allows you to idle the engine up without having the engine in gear. Come back to neutral, light goes solid. Next time you shift it, the engine will actually shift. Right above that, we have our station selector. So if you're moving between upstairs and downstairs, both controls must be in neutral, and then press the station selector for whichever helm you are at. Right above the station selector, we have our trim tab control. We have our port and starboard trim tabs right here. These are electric trim tabs, so just a touch goes a long way. You don't need to press and hold them. One over from there, we have our mic and controls for our VHF radio. Right above that, we have our Yamaha 6YC gauge. On the Yamaha 6YC gauge, couple things to know about. First and foremost, our engine RPM and engine trim are right here, followed by our water temperature, battery voltage, and oil pressure. Coming down the right-hand side, we have our speed, our economy, and our fuel flow, as well as our fuel tank level. This boat currently has a full tank of fuel. What I use is my fuel gauge. If you hit cancel and come into here and go down to used using the arrow keys, you can zero this out, and that will continue to count away the gallons until say you put 100 gallons in. If that says 70, then you'll know you have 30 gallons left. I use that as my fuel gauge. It measures injector pulse width and is spot on, dead on accurate. To the right of that, we have our power pole control. A couple things to know about here. We have this button. This allows you to pick between left, right, or both. And then above that, we have a speed button: slow, medium, and fast. The two buttons here are obvious. Press down to put the poles down, press up to put the poles up. Coming over to our switch panel, we have a horn, followed by our nav lights, up if you're running at night, middle position off, back if you're anchored at night. This is a very common phone call that I get. Dead battery, we go out to the boat, we check the boat, and the nav light was left in the down position, and the anchor light slowly killed the battery. We have two spreader lights on this boat, one forward and one aft. We have one overhead light on this boat Flick it once for white, flick it twice for blue. Next one is our cockpit lights. There's blue lights underneath the covering board on this boat that light up the walkway in the deck at night. One over from there is our compartment lights. The compartment lights light up the battery compartment, which we'll see shortly. They light up all the ballast storage, and they light up the bilge. One over from there is our underwater light switch, followed by our first live well and our second live well. There's two live wells on this boat, one in the leaning post, one in the back of the boat. They have screw-in standpipes. Screw those in. We have a crustacean pipe and a tall pipe for keeping fish. Both are in your blue owner's bag. These are the recirculation pumps, if equipped, for the first and second live well, followed by our freshwater washdown and our raw water washdown. There are freshwater and raw water washdowns located underneath of both covering boards, one on the port, one on the starboard. Coming over one from there, we have our bubbler for the live well, if equipped, followed by 3 blank accessory switches that we don't use. Coming lastly over to here, we have our bilge pump with light. If the light is on, the bilge is pumping out. If that light stays on for an extended period of time while you're using the boat, you may want to check it, make sure the float switch is not stuck. This boat is equipped with a Garmin 8612. I have a lot of detailed videos on this unit on our YouTube page, so check out the how-to section to learn more about that. The same goes for the JL Audio Media Master series. We have another how-to video on the Media Master also on our YouTube, so slide over there and check that out. I'm not going to get into too much detail there. With that said, let's move around to the battery switch compartment. So down inside our battery switch compartment, we have our 4 Group 31 gel cell AGM batteries there under the acrylic that is lighted by the compartment light. 3 of those are our trolling motor batteries, and 1 of those is our engine and house battery. As we come up the right hand side, we will see our Garmin 315 VHF radio installed there. Right above that, we have another light. Simply click it on to illuminate this area at night. Coming across from there, we have the back side of our 8612 and the back side of our other electronics. Stepping down from there, we have our Pro Tournament battery charger. On the starboard side of the console is your plug, so you can keep your batteries charged up. And then across there, we have the back side of our switch panel and breaker panel. NEMA 2000 network is located right there. And that pretty much wraps up inside the console. Moving forward out of the battery compartment and up into the bow of the Pathfinder 2500, we have our fuel fill located on the port side of the boat and our water fill located on the starboard side of the boat. Under my feet here, we have 2 storage compartments, both locking, lift and twist to open, and a larger one here. As we come up from there, we have another cavernous storage compartment. Again, locking. Inside of here, we have rod storage, again lighted and locking. And on the opposite side, another rod storage compartment, which is also lighted and locking. This boat is equipped with a motor guide trolling motor. To deploy the trolling motor, step on this lever and slide it out. We do have an anchor locker here as well, and that's where your trolling motor plug attaches. It twists and locks in place. Cleat here to tie off your anchor, and locks to lock your anchor in place when you're running. As we move back on the Pathfinder 2500. We have rod storage underneath of both gunnels. We have the fresh and raw water. Raw water on the starboard side, fresh water on the port side. These seats slide forward and open up, and then these flip out to give us access to our bilge area. Down inside of here we have our power pole pump and our fuel water separator with primer ball. We also have a Groco through hull valve. Anything that goes through the hull in this boat has an Apollo valve attached. Behind that you can see our insulated fish box / storage area. Coming over to the other side, we'll pull this out, flip this up again, fold this guy out. We have access to our bilge area on this side. In here we have our through hull valve again, our power assist steering pump, and then our second blade power pole pump. Last but certainly not least, down center here we have our bilge area. Coming down in here we have our 2 live well pumps. Right behind that we have our bilge pump with float switch. Coming in front of the live well pumps we have our raw water washdown pump. This shares a seacock with the live well through hull, so the live well through hull must be open in order for this to work. This boat is also equipped with a second station tower. So I'm going to climb up here and we're going to go over a couple things up top here. First and foremost, inside of here we have the back side of our helm. Up front and center there we have a fuse block for our electronics up top here, and then access to our wiring. Again, this is locking and the keys are taped right there. Additionally, up top here we have our Yamaha binnacle control, our Yamaha station select, start stop and lanyard, our trim tab controls, Garmin 942 and Yamaha 6YC gauge. We also have a jack plate control here that can control the jack plate up and down, and our power pole control right there. So this boat is powered by a Yamaha F300 4.2 liter outboard. Couple things to know about this engine. Dipstick is located right here. Pull it out, wipe it off, stick it back in. The oil level should be between the 2 dots. Right in front of that we have our oil filter. First oil change on this boat is going to be done at 25 hours. Your break-in period is your first 10 hours. Please, please, please don't skip this first oil change. It's the most important one you're going to do. Break-in period, for that first 10 hours, you want to vary your RPM. If you read the owner's manual, say first hour do this, next hour do this, next hour do this. And that's simply because Yamaha and Japanese can't say vary your RPM. They're very precise. Big thing is vary your RPM. You do need to open the engine all the way up to 6,000 in order to break it in at the full RPM band, not just one speed. After that, every 100 hours or every year, whichever comes first. At 100 hours, you're going to do a fuel filter change and an upper lower oil change. 200 hours, you're going to do oil change with spark plugs. 300 hours, oil change with water pump and thermostats. 400 hours, we throw the spark plugs back in, and then at 500 hours, we start inspecting timing belts. On the side of the engine here, we have our flush port. Unscrew this, there's a little yellow garden hose washer on there. Keep a pack of these on the boat. These are very prone to falling out. You can get them at your local hardware store. They're like $1 for 5 of them. Keep a few extras on the boat. Hook your garden hose up to this side. Run the hose for 5 to 10 minutes. Shut the water off. Screw this back in and tighten it up. And you are good to go. Additionally, back here you have a mechanic's trim on the side of the engine. Coming down here we have our lower water pickup and our upper water pickup. The gear case fill is behind the low water pickup and the level screw is right here. On the very front of the gear case there's a little tiny hole. A lot of times that'll get clogged up with sand, muck, debris, something like that. You can take an 1/8 inch drill bit, put it in there, clean that out, and you're good to go. Drain plug on this boat is located underneath the center there. It has an O-ring on it. Do not over tighten it. You will bust the O-ring and it will leak. As I said before, this boat's equipped with an Atlas 6-inch jack plate with controls on both steering wheels and 2 blade power poles. Bennett trim tabs on each corner. And that pretty much wraps us up on the Pathfinder 2500. If you have any questions, feel free to call 302-436-1737 or email us. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what else you'd like to see me cover.